creepy and cool TikToks that will blow your mind. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go!
Disclaimer: this video is for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research, as these clips haven't been fact-checked.
You remember that bro that went to Mooley Point and found those unnatural cut blocks in the ground? Those Nephilim blocks? Well, bro went back and found some more stuff. Look at this. Look at that. Y'all still think this is natural? Look at that angle. Look at that angle. You think that's natural? Come on, man. Look how sharp those angles are. You can slice your hand open with that.
Wow.
Look at that angle. 90 degrees. 90 degrees. This is not natural. This is a quarry. This is a Nephilim Titan quarry. Not a Nephilim giant, because there's Nephilim giants and Titans. Look at those blocks, man.
Ooh.
Yeah, well, this is the new stuff he found.
Man.
These look like bricks. Or they could be dragon scales. Some people in the other video were saying this is dragon scales. This is a huge petrified, deceased animal. Now, this looks cut to me. This looks cut. I know people are going to say this is natural, but these look like bricks, laid bricks. That look natural to me. Look how big that is. This is like... Now, all this stuff up here, this brings suspicion. Because, okay, well, this might be natural. But I don't know. Like, it's half and half. Some of it looks like it was laid, cut and laid, and some of it looks like it's natural. Now, people are talking about dragons, but this part looks like a serpent. Kind of looks like a serpent. And like scales on it, too. The point of this video is to get you to open your eyes and question mainstream, because this looks like some people did this. Some giants or people or somebody. It doesn't look natural to me. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Do you think the mainstream is lying about the Titans, about the giants? Or is this just a natural formation?
Giants were real. They were fallen angels. It's in the Bible. Blow my mind. Oh man. Creepy. Look at that. And after the show, the elite eats the mermaid. Allegedly.
All right, everybody saw the clip of that Fox News host right after Donald Trump met with Vladimir Putin in Alaska, right? The Fox News host, the blonde lady, was standing there wide-eyed saying she was very confused and the vibes in that room were off. Now we are getting more reporting saying that Karoline Leavitt herself was quite shaken up after the meeting, that, again, the vibe in the room was very off-kilter, and that when they walked out, Trump and Vladimir Putin, for what was supposed to be a joint press conference, Putin actually began speaking first, which caused all of the press to throw their headsets on and shuffle to get their stuff together. Putin spoke for about 6 minutes. Then Trump got the second word in his home country of America. Trump got the second word, and he only spoke for about 2 to 3 minutes and praised Vladimir Putin. All of this is to say, whatever happened in that closed-door meeting still isn't available to the public, but people seemed shaken. We have no time to waste, so let's start off with this clip. It reads, MSNBC host says Karoline Leavitt looked ashen after Putin meeting, and then we'll go from there.
Can I ask you very quickly before we have to go to break? A lot of the press corps that was there, they reported in the minutes and hours after the presser that they saw members of the administration like Karoline Leavitt look ashen, almost frightened after what they had seen behind closed doors. What did that indicate to you?
Well, first, we should all be glad that we did not go to Alaska, because I was in Helsinki with you and I was in Geneva when President Biden met. They traveled a long ways for nothing in return, those journalists, right? But that suggests to me that this was a bigger disaster than they're leading on. To your point, they're trying to spin it, although they're not even trying to spin it. That's a really interesting thing. When I worked at the White House and we would have meetings like this, I was the SAO, the senior administration official that would call up journalists, that would call the New York Times to say this is what was discussed, to push it this way. They're not even attempting to do that because they know they don't have anything to work with.
The Trump administration is barely trying to spin. Again, I made a video about Fox News right after this presser happened. They didn't have enough time to spin and craft their talking points, so they were all just kind of shaken. Then as the night went on, of course, we have Trump sycophants going on and just praising him relentlessly. But it gets worse. Here's another video that was taken in Anchorage, Alaska, directly after the meeting, directly after Trump departed and said there was no agreement.
What struck me, Jen, in particular, was really just the looks on the faces of a lot of the American delegation here. Karoline Leavitt, the press secretary, Steve Witkoff, who came into the room, then left quickly, then came back in. Leavitt appeared to be a bit stressed out, anxious. Their eyes were wide, almost ashen at times. Those were some of the sort of images that will stick with me as we leave here. This was not the way the president likes to do things. He likes to be the producer of this presidency. He got that in the first half of the day, but when he was behind closed doors with Vladimir Putin, it looks like he didn't come away with anything that he claimed he wanted. He said he'd go home unhappy if there was no ceasefire. They didn't declare one here today.
I'm going to tell you why I think Karoline Leavitt was ashen or shaken or wide-eyed. But first, I was really furious this morning. Can I explain to you guys why I was so furious?
If the administration looked ashen and afraid, then I would assume, that nuclear weapons were discussed. What do you think?
I dare you to type in a search bar, my look-alike. Yeah. This is the first video that popped up.
It's M to the B, it's M to the B, man.
I've never seen this person before, but hello.
I tried, and apparently I look like a beautiful black woman.
In case you are wondering if this is real, yes, it is very real. This is the Iguazu Falls. It's on the border between Argentina and Brazil. Wow. And you see this particular part, this is the devil's throat. Most of the time, tourists always get like really soaked, from like the splash of the water and everything. But this is 100% real. And yes, would you like to try this? Would you like to even be on the devil's throat? Can you actually stay here?
No.
That's my question. Whoa.
My question is, who built the bridge?
So everybody's making a big old deal right now because Salma Hayek and Angelina Jolie are in Veracruz right now in a place called Catemaco or Catemaco. I hope I pronounced it right. And right away you can tell who's actually from Mexico and who isn't just by the comments. The ones that are from here are like, oh my God, they're so humble. Salma Hayek's so humble, never forgetting her roots and blah, blah, blah. I swear my people are so asleep. And then you have the locals from Veracruz, which are saying what it really is. And they said it's not a good reason. They're there, but it is not for a good reason. Why? Because that place, Catemaco, whatever, is actually the capital of the brujas, the capital of the witches, as what? This person says right here.
Catemaco, justo.
Sí. Allá es la capital de la brujería.
And what the locals are speculating, because they know what happens in that place, they're known for TikTok. This is just a conspiracy, but they're very highly known for rituals and things like that. And most of the people, the locals in the comments, are saying the same thing, that she's there for the red juice. Ooh. Or they're there, both of them. And yes, I mean, are y'all really surprised? Salma Hayek, she's the same one who does these kind of things. And I know y'all say, oh, it's just a video, but a lot of these celebrities hide the truth in things like this. Yeah. And I mean, there's even a book about it, this book right here, where it talks about, the powerful leaders there, all the politicians and everything, they go there for their brujeria stuff. And, it's just really sad to see how some parts of Mexico, they just completely turn their backs on God. And this is like their main thing. And it's no surprise that Veracruz is known as one of the most high crime, most dangerous places in Mexico right now. And what a coincidence. It happens to be the capital of the darkness, the spirit world, the dark spirit world. And again, TikTok, this is for entertaining purposes only.
Go look at Salma Hayek's husband gallery. Disturbing.
These beautiful ladies stand on the street waiting for a man to take them home, give them food, or offer them shelter for the night. Yes, you heard that right. And the God they wait for is not divine, but a man who can provide. They are called Kamadai Shoujo, girls of the God era, a hidden Japanese street subculture that began in the late 1990s. Runaway girls would post their location online, hoping someone would take them in. Most offers came from lonely men with just a futon and a meal to give. The unspoken deal was simple. If it felt right, they stayed. If not, they moved on. Some can earn huge sums, but many spend it on nightlife, chasing moments of happiness. Society rejects them, calling them dropouts and runaways. Many come from broken homes, and some vanish after trusting the wrong God. Today, around 3,500 Kamadai girls roam Japan's streets, their lives balanced between survival and danger, beauty and risk, all for the hope of finding a man who will be their God, if only for a night. If you doubt it, search Kamadai Shoujo, Girls of the God Era. Thank you for watching.
No money, no love. Man, look at that.
The name of the devil was never Lucifer. Ethiopia knew the truth. In the winding highlands of Ethiopia, where the clouds wrap around ancient monasteries perched atop mountains like forgotten sentinels of another world, secrets older than time itself lie quietly inked on worn parchment and delicate vellum. The scent of incense and sacred oils fills these stone chambers where robed monks guard relics that have never been touched by European hands or Vatican scholars. Here in the ancient Ge'ez language, written in script that breathes with mysticism, there are whispers of a name long hidden. The real name of the devil, not the Latin Lucifer, not the Hebrew Satan, but something far more primal, something known only to a select few keepers of Ethiopia's most guarded sacred knowledge. And for centuries that knowledge has been kept from the world, obscured by both reverence and fear. Long before the printing press, before European theologians debated the finer points of Christian doctrine in cold stone halls, Ethiopia had already compiled and preserved a massive biblical tradition. The Ethiopic Bible, or the Orthodox Tewahedo Canon, is not only older in structure than the Western Bible, but is also vastly more expansive, containing upwards of 81 to 88 books, depending on the ecclesiastical source. It includes unique texts like Enoch, Jubilees, the Book of the Covenant, and the Book of the Mysteries of Heaven and Earth, among many others. It is in these books, particularly in the mysterious Apocrypha and esoteric scrolls, where the name of the great adversary, the being we call the devil, takes a more haunting and elaborate form. While most of the world became accustomed to the sanitized allegorical version of evil as Lucifer, a Latin interpretation stemming from a mistranslation of the Hebrew word Hellel, meaning morning star, Ethiopia's texts kept an unbroken tradition of ancient Semitic and Afro-Asiatic language and understanding. In the Book of Enoch, preserved in its entirety only in the Ge'ez version and considered canonical by the Ethiopian Church, the devil is not merely an adversary, but a complex entity with a tangled genealogy. He is named as Satanael, Gadriel, Azazel, and even Semjaza, depending on the act committed and the rank held among the fallen. The name Satanael, ending in El, marks him as once being among the Elohim, the divine beings. But unlike Satan in later Western thought, who evolved into a singular figure of evil, Satanael in the Ethiopian cosmology is only one of several rebellious angels, each with specific roles in corrupting humanity. Azazel, for instance, is blamed for teaching humans the art of war, metallurgy, and forbidden knowledge. But Gadriel, another figure blamed for deceiving Eve, is sometimes conflated with the chief of the Watchers, Semjaza. These are not just names, they are titles, ranks in a vast celestial rebellion that predates Genesis. Yet Ethiopian mystical texts found in works like the Book of the Mysteries of Heaven and Earth, Mashafa Mestira Samai wa Meder, and the Book of the Rolls, Kibra Nagast, point toward a far more terrifying truth. These fallen beings are not mythical, they are cosmic intelligences, and their names are not mere allegory. The Ge'ez script reveals the use of divine numerical codes and secret phonetics used by the early priests to encrypt the names of dark powers. Names believed to possess spiritual resonance capable of summoning or banishing forces beyond our understanding. In one such text, scholars have debated for years the untranslated name rendered phonetically as Sebel, a name eerily absent in Western manuscripts, yet present in Ethiopia's oral and written traditions, as the one who divided the heavens, tried to usurp the divine throne, and created the illusion of separation from God. This name, Sebel, which translates loosely to the defiler of light, or he who pollutes purity, is not found in Roman theology or Greek philosophy. It appears only in Ethiopia's hidden codices, whispered in the liturgies of the Beta Israel and the hermits of Lalibela.
Gadriel was Lucifer's first name when he was placed in the garden to protect the Father's creation.
Legend says there is a half-human, half-snake living in the secret basement of a popular mall near Manila called Robinson's Galleria. Some say the human snake is actually a child of John Gokungwe, the owner of Robinson Malls. This little boy, this little creature, does not like to eat anything but pretty young women. Now, it's debatable what he does with these women. Some versions of the urban legend say that he swallows them whole like a snake. Others say that he digs his fangs into their necks and drains them of every drop of their blood, just leaving bloodless, empty shells of dead women all around him. Either way, the family was forced to build a massive compound to house their son that happened to be half human, half snake. And they had to constantly find young women to feed their son. But you cannot just throw a big building in the middle of nowhere and have a bunch of young women disappear that's connected to that building and think that nothing's gonna happen. So the only solution that they could come up with that made logical sense was a mall. It would give the family unlimited access to girls, and it would house their son in the underground basement. The fitting rooms were said to have these hidden cameras, and sometimes there would be two-way mirrors that allowed their son to see these girls. He's very particular. He likes them young and pretty. He has a style. Even though he's trapped in the basement, he would pick the ones that he wanted, and with the press of a button inside the fitting rooms, the floor would disappear from underneath them, and they would slide down the tunnel straight into his mouth.
Ooh.
Insane book. It's one of the best books I've ever read. I've read it twice. The author is Kalen Jr. They say he's a former 33rd degree Mason. I don't know if that's true. But man, the stuff he talks about in there is absolutely insane. Like legit mind-blowing. It dives deep into how reality actually works. And some of it is so dark, it kind of messes with your head. It's one of those books where you finish a chapter and just stare at the wall like, what the fuck did I just read? It's intense, man.
What do you mean extreme currents? Where's this? Intense you've ever experienced? I don't want to go on it. No! Is this meant to be a lazy river, but the opposite? Look, it sucks you in. Oh, hell no. And the sharp turns? Look, we're even starting to drown because the audio's checked. Oh,
looks
I don't
fun.
like, it's actually giving me anxiety. It's like being stuck in the ocean when the current starts slapping against the wet. No! Get me away! We've gone underwater. Look, there looks like there's a checkered flag, which is red. It's saying, do not go in there. Warning. Warn it. And what do? We slide straight into them DMs. No! Oh my God, we've gone underwater again. What kind of current is it? It's because I currently don't want to be anywhere near this slide. Oh, it's taking us through a tunnel and there's light at the end, which is always a good thing, but are we going to get there? It's not even the end. They just put light bulbs in it. That's a bit risky, innit? Being near to so much water. One of them's not even working. Do you want to know why? Because you get splashed. And they chuck you underwater again. I know you're having the time of your life, but I'm stressing here. Where's he going?
Where's the end of the slide? I'm confused.
Africa wants a new world map, calling the current one the world's longest misinformation campaign. This week, the African Union officially backed what's called the Correct Map campaign, which aims to replace our current standardized world map with a version that shows a country's true size. You see, the Mercator map intentionally distorts the sizes of continents and countries for navigation purposes. So it appears that Africa is a similar size to the US or China, when in reality, it is so much bigger that the US, China, India, Japan, and much of Western Europe can all fit into Africa, and there still would be space left over. The African Union says that this over 500-year-old map is outdated, and are now calling for schools, governments, and international institutions to adopt images that reflect a country's true size. They propose the equal Earth projection because they say this is so much more than just a map. It's about Africa's identity and pride. In fact, the head of a campaign group backing this says it's the world's longest misinformation and disinformation campaign, and it simply has to stop. But the question is, what do you think? Does size truly matter, or is the current map fine the way it is?
Just look at the UN logo. That's the real map.
This is the chilling final wish of a British grandma
man.
awaiting execution by a firing squad in Bali. Lindsay Sandiford has been in prison for the past 12 years after being caught attempting to smuggle £1.6 million worth of cocaine into Indonesia in her suitcase. However, because executions in Indonesia are carried out so infrequently, she is still waiting for her punishment. The execution method is chilling. Convicts are led to a grassy area where they can choose to sit or stand before a firing squad executes them. People are fighting to get Lindsay Sandiford off death row. However, she did make a final wish if she is forced to die. She requested that if it happens, she doesn't want her family to come. She doesn't want any fuss at all. She said, "The one thing certain about life is no one gets out alive."
Her charges are not equal to firing squad.
People are terrified of this roller coaster.
Why are they terrified? Well, because it's a roller coaster for starters,
I love
Sharon.
this guy.
How many people could go on it? It's like 40 of ya. Let's go. Oh, I don't like the POVs. It's giving me anxiety already. Oh, piss off. Is that a vertical drop? Get me off. Get me off. Where's the emergency button right now? Oh, we're at the front. You could have put me at the back so I can't see the clouds that I'm basically I can make candy floss. I'm that close. Oh, God, why is it going so... It ain't going to lean you over the edge because I know these drops do that. Oh, don't you lean me over slowly. Just put me through it.
Man, look at that drop.
Oh my God, they stopped you. Oh my God. That's not very nice, is it?
Wow.
Oh, you
Man.
evil little... And then upside down again. No. 71 miles per hour. Well, at least you're going the speed limit and you ain't going to get a speeding ticket.
Ooh,
God, it's like a personal driver, but they don't know what it's like.
Oh, that's
those
another
crazy
drop.
Uber drivers. Oh, I can't do it. Oh, my belly's going off. Oh, I think I need a number 2.
Busch Gardens, Williamsburg.
Busch Gardens, guess what? Never come in. Imagine that. I've been dodging that and there's water. For the love of everything, why can't we just go on the merry-go-round, you know? Something nice and slow and safe. Oh, God.
I'll try it. This is crazy, man.
Buka kasi lihat itu main itu buka itu ini kudu buka iya buka juga itu buka itu juga buka terputuskan buka
What's the end goal here exactly?
Alright, I'm gonna make this one quick. No ceasefire, no deal, no second meeting, and no late Putin. That's the bottom line. But that's not the whole story. Now, after walking out their massive jets at the same time, Trump giving Putin a few claps and getting into the beast together, they arrived at the actual meeting room where they got berated by the press.
Thank you, press. Let's go.
Now, neither answered a single question, and they quickly began their 3-on-3 private, closed-door negotiations. Now, before the meeting, one Russian official said these talks could last up to 7 hours. But right around the 3-hour mark, it was all over. Some hoped that this was a sign that things went well, and in fact, both sides said exactly that, but they would. Trump said that progress was made, but ultimately, we didn't get there. He said that Putin respects America now, and that now he's going to be calling NATO and some other people to further the negotiations. Putin, on the other hand, in his speech, reminded the world that America and Russia are actually very close neighbors, which weirdly feels friendly and threatening at the same time. He said, though separated by the oceans, we're only 4 kilometers apart. We're close neighbors, and that's a fact. And then revealed that when he greeted Trump, that's what he said. Hello, dear neighbor. Good to see you're healthy and alive. And then as they wrapped their speeches, Putin said this.
We'll probably see you again very soon.
Next time in Moscow.
All right.
That's an interesting one. A little heat on that one, but I could see it possibly happening.
Again, they didn't take any questions from the press, boarded their planes, and off they went. But what do you guys think? Was this a total failure or the first step towards peace?
I've seen
All right.
physical
Peace.
beings that are
Hopefully.
definitely not like our animals up here come out of these spaces from inside the earth. I've seen in deep underground military bases dogmen, like you would kind of describe them. Some more humanized, and I think a lot of those were experimentation and genetic splicing. I think a lot of that was gene editing stuff that I've seen. But I do believe that some of these things are holdovers from the old days. They're the last of their kinds, and they've been breeding them, right? And I believe that that's the stuff that's prophesied that's going to come back out and cause the hearts of men to stop for fear of looking after these things that are coming up on the earth. You know, that's why everywhere I went throughout my youth, I could go to these tunnels and these caves and call out, and I could hear them, and they would call back, you know, and it's like it's a seductive power that draws you back into it.
You could
It's-
call out to them, like,
Yeah.
was it like a language or a sound or what?
Oh yeah, man. You can learn to call to them. You can go out here in these hills out here and do it. You can still do it tonight on these full moons and stuff. You can start calling out. You'll think you'll hear coyotes at first, and then all of a sudden it's a totally different, you know, it's a different sound that starts to resonate, and then it's a different one that calls off from over here, right? You got to understand some of these guys that you think are just neighbors and stuff or just people, like this is what they keep in their barn, you know. This is the
Can you
stuff
kill
they
'em?
keep. Yeah, absolutely.
Columbus, so dope, man.
Okay, can someone please explain what's going on here? Someone that's expert in nature. Let me know what's going on in this circle, please.
That's STS, Secret Turtle Society.
Huh? Do you know why I put you over?
It's
that stop sign for too long? Yeah.
Look at his eyes.
Why were you just sitting there? I was just waiting for it to turn green. I feel it's better than running through it. Where you headed? I'm headed home. Okay, where you live? With my parents. Okay, and where do your parents live? They live with me. Okay, and where do you all live? We all live together. Okay, so where's your house? It's next to my neighbor's house. And where's your neighbor's house? Ooh, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. Try me.
Next to my
house. Step out the car, please. You going to jail? Yep.
Oh my god, this guy, I can't believe it.
But everything he said was right, though.
Why do so many people in the music industry sell their soul? As somebody who performed a ritual herself 11 years ago, for the same reasons, I can tell you that many of these artists have performed the rituals, or they have had somebody perform the ritual for them. And what happens when you do that is that you assign a demon to your soul, you direct. Because remember, there are many demons. As much as there are people in this world, there are demons. Okay? And they dwell in the lowest level of vibration that you can imagine. They dwell. And their only goal is to get as many people to come to the devil as possible. So when you perform a ritual and you think that this entity, this demon, the devil himself, is going to give you rewards, this lavish life that, you know, people could only dream of, the devil might wave that life in front of your face because it's going to tempt you to continue to follow through with it. Okay. And many of these artists do this because either out of desperation of wanting to be famous, they want their, you know, maybe they came from a really tough background and they want their lives to change. And you see it happening regularly with these young artists, especially. A lot of these young rappers came from really hard lives, really tough backgrounds, and they want to have this life. But out of desperation, because this was the reason why I did it, out of pure desperation of wanting to see your life change, you are willing to exchange your soul and your energy to something that you don't even know. Like the entity that I had attached to me, I will not say its name because I'm not going to give it that power. And I just seriously do not even want to mention its name because
Don't
it
mention
almost
it.
cost me my life to break the connection with it. So I'm not even going to bring that up, but he was an ancient entity and has been in and of this world for a very, very long time. Knew things about me that I have never told anybody, knew things about my family, about my past, as demons do, because they're grooming you. They're grooming you to believe that they know everything about you. They want you to trust them with your life, which I did. And they're going to promise you the world, but there are things that you have to do in order to continue. It's like a ranking system. And as I said, I was involved in it for 11 years. So you can imagine the things that I had to experience in order to get absolutely nowhere. Because one that was assigned to me directly had informed me that I was not meant to be a part of that world, because I was too connected, that God wanted me so bad on his side that the devil was never going to fulfill the promise to me, because that means if he did, I was going to fully submit to the dark side. And I was not meant to, because I am meant to be spreading light and not darkness. And what I was doing for so many years was, in fact, spreading darkness and trying to get other people to believe in witchcraft and believe that God didn't exist. But God said, no, that is not for you. I'm sorry if I'm going off on a rant, but I want to get more into details and depth about my story. So I'm definitely going to have to make a part 2.
Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior.
Yale isn't a college, it's a human farm. Let me explain. The Skull and Bone Society is just the front. The real secret here is way darker. It's story time. TikTok, this is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Or is it? Sterling Memorial Library, the largest library at Yale University, was designed to look Gothic for a reason. A Gothic cathedral at that. And deep beneath this library, there is an entryway, allegedly. This is the story of Julian, Elias, and Aurora. Julian is a 19-year-old college student who never had any intentions of going to college whatsoever, but he was a legacy and was forced into it. He made several solid attempts not to attend Yale, let alone any other university, including a string of thefts and car robberies, and was a well-known pothead. But did that stop him from getting in? Hell no. If you were to take one look at this guy, you would think he's a sure American all-around fuck-up. He's one of those that you would never in a million years even guess that they were extremely wealthy and that came from a powerful family. Aurora was a 21-year-old journalism student who had already previously been there to Julian and Elias's coming. She's the type of girl you can tell has been around and seen some things, and the goth era was right up her alley. She was one of those people that couldn't stand herself, let alone to be around other people, so it would make you wonder why in the fuck she went into journalism, okay? Because isn't that talking to people? Probably. Elias, on the other hand, is one of those people that is very well put together and can be compared to a young Brendan Fraser. You would assume that his family was the one that had money, especially with his accent being from London. He just assumed that he got in by mistake. Wrong. Now, for whatever messed up reason, these three end up meeting by invitation. Now, at this time, you might be thinking this sounds a little bit about Skull and Bones, but it's not at all. That's just the front. They all three get separate invitations, all different color envelopes, all containing different things, but one tagline remains the same. Julian gets a white envelope, Aurora gets a red one, and Elias gets a black one. Inside these envelopes, there is a white piece of paper that says, "To be one of us, you must first die as you," with a silver coin taped to it. And when they pulled it off, it was like tiny, and it had a snake swallowing its tail, the Ouroboros on it. A couple of days go by, and they're like, that's fucking weird. All of them separately don't even know each other yet, and they all think it's weird. Julian, however, has heard this phrase amongst his family several times, so he's wondering what the hell is going on. And a couple of nights later, they all find out why. If you want to know more about this story, because it's getting kind of long and they're harder to upload when they get longer, let me know in the comments. Is this fact or is this fiction? I'll let you decide.
Isn't Yale where they recruit like Mason members? Correct me if I'm wrong.
See, all of the world is one big stage, and all these celebrities are just scripted and recycled characters. This is Jamie Presley and Margaret Robbie, Heath Ledger and Joseph Gordon. You have to understand, guys, that this reality has been scripted from the beginning. This is why The Simpsons predicts everything. It's not a prediction. It's simply an agenda. And all of these people, they're all the same characters that have been playing the same roles for so long, distracting you. They're all part of the exact same club. They don't go away. They're the same people. Look at this. They're the same people, guys. Very, very obvious. Very obvious. Isn't it obvious? What do you guys think? Same people again. Scripted reality. We live in a scripted reality. I keep telling you guys this. It's all an agenda. They're all a part of the globalists. They don't die. They just get recycled. That's all it is. They know what's good. You should too. Peace and love.
Maybe they're all from the same batch of clones?
So to everybody that needs proof of Kourtney Kardashian being an actual vampire, here's an alleged photo of her in 1912. And the creator who posted this video, her name is Andrea, I'm gonna tag her. She swears that this is Kourtney. It is like a shocking resemblance, but we truly will never know because obviously Kourtney probably has a lot of filler or has had a lot of facial surgery that was not available back in 1912. So we're not gonna see her exact face or like what her face would actually look like if she didn't have surgery and whatnot nowadays. But holy fuck. I'm sure there's more photos of like other celebrities that are from way back when as well. But it brings up a larger conspiracy as to why are celebrities just being recycled? Do they just kind of go through this motion of never being offed or never passing away? And if so, how many celebrities are actually participating in vampire rituals?
We have literally watched her grow up on television.
In Morocco, witchcraft holds such power that the government itself has reinforced the penal system with heavy fines to stop it. Sire is everywhere, but when asked about it, silence is almost absolute. And yet, everyone has heard of it. Although Islam considers magic a major sin, there are those who practice it while praying and identifying as believers. It's a common contradiction, where faith and fear coexist in the same heart. Centuries of blending between Africa, Al-Andalus and the occult have left deep marks. In the labyrinth of Fez, there are doors adorned with amulets, hands of Fatima, red threads, symbols meant to protect against the evil eye. Today they're sold as tourist souvenirs, but they were once spiritual tools. The symbolism remains, even if the origin is forgotten. Behind these beliefs are the Shawafas and Efquais, people who, according to many, can bend fate. Some promise healing, others destruction. Love, health, fortune, or death. Everything can be altered if you know who to turn to.
Some of the most powerful books of witchcraft are written in the Arabic.
Only 4 of these rugs in the world.
What is the craziest rug deal you've ever made?
Craziest rug deal I ever made. Mostly upstate was my territory. There was this antique dealer that didn't trust anybody. He says, I would not sell you anything, but I give you the rugs. You go sell them, take 10% for yourself. I was honest with him. So he wouldn't let me make any money, real money. 10%, you know, I cannot survive on 10%, but he was very shrewd. One day I go over there, I see he's got like a Turkmen Salor 4x6, something like that. And I wasn't so educated what this is, but my eyes tell me this is good. I didn't know how good is it. I never seen anything like that, but I could feel the age, the quality, everything there. Everything was there. I couldn't take my eyes off of it. Usually those days, the Baluchi, Turkmen, you know, we used to buy around $200, maybe $300. This guy asking $1,100 for this piece. $1,100? I buy this every day for $200-300. Why $1,100? No, I want $1,100 for it. Anyhow, I bought it. I didn't put it in the trunk because it was so special. I rolled it. I put it in the car next to me. And I was driving back. Every half an hour, I turn on the light, look at the back of it. What is this? I didn't know. Anyhow, cutting the story short, I happened to sell that for $86,000.
Wow.
That was the craziest deal I ever did. Only 4 of these rugs in the world.
That's why.
That was how rare it was.
I think carpet salesmen are right up there with used car salesmen. What do you think?
Do you know why you overthink? It's because you don't have faith. You have fear because your mind is trying to step into the role of being your savior, your master. Solve things, take care of this, rectify that. Your mind was never meant to be your master. Your mind is supposed to drive you to be renewed by the master. Sheesh, that's a bar.
Good.
Understand what I'm saying? You were never called to figure it all out, guys. Understand? You're supposed to trust in the one who already figured it all out, which is Jesus. That's the issue here. People think that they defeat overthinking by thinking harder. No. You defeat overthinking by trusting harder. Trusting God to handle everything. Trusting God with your past, your present, and your future. Trusting God with your kids. Trusting God with your spouse, with your family. Trusting God with your job and your career. Trusting God with your walk in spiritual life. Remember, guys, spiritual life is not about gaining anything. It's about what you can let go. So people try to predict every outcome. They're trying to be like God, and God will allow it to show you. Can you do it? Can you be like me? Can you handle everything? Or are you going to trust with me with all your heart so I can direct your path? It's up to you. Are you going to be obsessive with control? Are you going to be obsessive with faith? My goodness. Are you going to trust me? Are you going to trust yourself? Right? Many people lie awake at nighttime worrying about their problems. Understand what I'm saying? But you have to understand something. It is finished. It's already written. It's in Jesus' hands. And he holds today, tomorrow, and forever.
Amen.
And thank God that he answered it before you even seen it. My goodness.
I'm trusting God with my life.
That when they tested the orangutan, they found out he only had 3 DNA series. They found out the gorilla had 4 DNA series, but he's a little smarter than the orangutan. They tested the chimpanzee, which is an ape, and found that he had 5 DNA series. Then they went into Europe and tested the DNA series of the English, the French, the German, the Spanish, the Russians, and found they had 6 DNA series because they tested 116 different human groups. All of them, all over the world, have 6. Then they came to Africa, found out that the African people have 9.
What?
9 DNA series. Now it's answered this age-old question: how can a people survive being told they're nothing for 400 years? Never allowed to learn that they came from beautiful cities and told they came from a jungle. How could a people survive? How can a people become champions in everything they touch? Because they have 9 DNA series, while the rest of the world has only 6.
All right, my question is, how can a 6 series DNA person enslave a 9 series DNA person? Let me know in the comment.
You have to see this. The builders of this place took a math equation that literally transforms vibration, it's called the Fourier transform, and turned it into a building. Don't believe me? I'll prove it to you. This is a synthesizer. I use it to make whoops. Those are whoops. Chichen Itza takes a sine wave and turns it into a square wave. You increase the semitones, or the pitch, by the same amount of levels in Chichen Itza. How about visually? Cymatic patterns show sound through a metal plate. They have an equation that can be converted into something that we can use to simulate those patterns. The peaks and the valleys show the shape of the sound. Other than making really cool graphics, we can also use this to reveal some hidden architecture and some really old stuff like Borobudur. Yep. The architecture is a mirror of the frequency.
Indonesia.
As we move up in frequency, the patterns get smoother and more complex. And within 100 hertz of that frequency that I just played, you get the architecture of Chichen Itza. Sonically and mathematically. Square waves are binary. You know what else is binary? Biology. if we use a pyramid to illustrate the sequence of biology, you get the binary sequence counting downwards. Counting diagonally, you get the golden ratio that links everything together proportionately. So how would this work? Well, you would take a seed and you would put it up in this chamber, which is exactly what the Mayans did, and then you'd wait till the feathered serpent returns to the ground. At this point, water does the rest of the heavy lifting, having the uncanny ability to reflect the flowers and fruits of which the products are. And if you're still skeptical, just remember that the most biodiverse region on the planet has the highest concentration of pyramids on the planet. This is temple technology, and I am Baseforge, and this is not the only example.
How did they know this stuff?
In this book, they were talking about how power lines can power themselves. So what are we paying for is the question. Power lines can power themselves. This is a phenomenal book for anybody to look into. I just figured I'd throw this up here. And Central Park is interesting too, because in this book, Lost Science, Nathan B. Stubbenfield was talking about how they couldn't find any energy in Central Park. He tapped his copper rods into the park, and he couldn't find a source of free electricity. So it makes you wonder what Central Park is really hiding. You know, there's really big boulders in Central Park, and you're kind of wondering what's underneath those boulders. But Central Park was really pretty. There's a castle, just sitting in the middle of it. You know, perfectly normal, a gigantic castle with 3 different floors and a bottom floor and all of that. Went to the Met, saw the Met and the steps and that, which is another old world building. Walked all around there, went to an old school bookstore, and that's where I found it was called. So,
isn't this what Nikola Tesla claimed? You know, he was building a tower to prove it.
I honestly don't even know how to process this. I'm still trying to. If you can handle this, type it up here or down there in your search bar.
I'm not typing nothing.
This is honestly sad. This is some sad stuff. Only if you got a strong stomach and a strong mental frame should you watch. This is honestly sad, man. They keep happening. And there's something we can do about it. There's something we can do. It's different, but it's the same. Kind of just, oh man. What's really going on? So you can stay in the loop with all of this just like I am. Type it up here or down there. If you can handle it. If you don't think you can handle it, I wouldn't click on this. I would not type this in. And if you one of them people who don't care about people in other places and you act like you not human or they not human, like I wouldn't click on this video. I would scroll right past it. I gotta have some common human decency. So if you one of them people who not empathetic, you don't feel for other people in their situations, then this video is not for you at all. If you one of them people who empathetic and you can help, or you just want to see what's going on, search this up here or down there at your own risk.
Search it and let me know in the comment.
What you need is your 2 working eyes to understand that the mainstream narrative is a load of absolute bullocks. Look at this. How could you possibly see this with your own 2 eyes and believe, yeah, these guys hammer and chisel, primitive civilization for sure? You know, it's mind-boggling to me, some of the people that will combat this and be like, oh, you're taking away from their art and specialty. They had so much time on their hands. Clearly it's hammer and chisel. But you're being so disrespectful by saying that, by really thinking that these people were primitive and they didn't have sophisticated, advanced technology that is far superior than ours, because they built things that we can't build. We cannot do this. That's the only evidence you need. It's simplistic. The detail in all of this is much more sophisticated than just simply hammer and chisel, right? This is laser technology, some sort of directed energy weapon technology, the furthest thing from hammer and chisel. These people were much more wise than we have been told. Peace and love.
Siva built these temples himself.
This behind me is a schizophrenic simulator that someone with schizophrenia made. Have you seen the video on my top left? What I'm about to tell you will change the entire way you look at your life and just disabilities in general. So I'll continue to let the schizophrenia simulator play along with what I'm saying and let you hear some from it as well. Now this video I was showing you in the top left corner, it's a guy detailing a group of people that were testing out artificial intelligence glasses at zoos. And these people were not seeing animals, but creatures. Crazy part, they're not physical creatures. They were literally seeing demons. Much like the Vietnam War and the glasses that they were using, they would see oncoming demons, fields of unalive people, all sorts of things in the spiritual realm. At this point, we all know that artificial intelligence is quite literally fallen angel technology. Now, the schizophrenia simulator has a whole lot to do with it. It's also the topic of the movie They Live. In the movie, every time he put his glasses on, he saw things as they really were, not just people turning into these creatures or demons, but he also saw words changing and the true admission of what they're trying to do on magazines and other headlines. And allegedly, even today, there are still people that have these so-called Dysonian glasses where they can see things in the spiritual realm, and they can show you, they put a lens in front of their camera and they can now see UFOs and spiritual things in the sky. So now, how does this connect? A schizophrenia simulator and also some guy having a group of people using artificial intelligence glasses and seeing demons instead of animals. It's quite possible that the artificial intelligence were showing real things that were there that human eyes cannot see. This is much like when you use a process of layers and other configurations with your camera. It can show you things that are there that the eyes can't see. Like when I keep finding this battery-like crescent that's powering the sun that's in the sky right now. OG followers remember that one. So that to this, what's the relation? I don't believe, first off, I'm not a doctor, I don't believe that these things are disabilities in the way we see it. I have family that are schizophrenic, and for years upon years now I have said, it's not a disability, they are actually seeing what's in the spiritual realm. There are quite literally videos of a lady in a psych ward, and she would see all these things, and when she finally started to command them or rebuke them in the name of Jesus, they all went from loving, crazy, whatever they're doing, to insane and vanish. I believe that this is a disorder in the human brain which really activates and hyperactivates the pineal gland, that they can see things because we have the pineal gland that God gave to us so we can hear Him, which is why they calcify the pineal gland. And also children and animals tend to be able to see ghosts. I'm not a betting person, but I would bet you that if you take someone who's diagnosed with this disorder and have them doing a brain scan while they're hallucinating, I bet you would see the pineal gland light up in their head. But it's the world and the textbooks that don't want us believing in spiritual things. It's not a standalone thing. Take any of these disabilities. You find that most people with these disabilities, like autism, they end up being geniuses. A whole bunch of the geniuses back in time, they would tell you that they got their information from other sources outside of themselves. Tesla, Mozart, on and on. Whether you realize it or not, whether you see it or not, things like this, principalities like this right here, huge structures like this right here, these things are always around us. And guess what?
So the voices in their head are probably spirits talking to them?
The most honest life lessons no one talks about. 1. The day a blind man sees, the first thing he throws away is the stick that helped him all his life.
Wow.
Growth means letting go of what once served you. 2. Sometimes you have to suffer in life, not because you're a bad person, but because you didn't know when to stop being good to the wrong person.
Oof.
Kindness without boundaries leads to self-betrayal. 3. One of the biggest mistakes we make is assuming other people think the way we do. Empathy requires clarity, not projection. 4. You can't change someone who doesn't see a problem with their actions. No amount of effort can replace someone else's awareness. 5. The greatest thing you can give yourself is freedom from what others think. Peace begins the moment you stop needing approval. 6. You can't make someone love you by giving them more of what they already don't appreciate. Love grows in presence, not persuasion. 7.
Ooh.
Just because you miss someone doesn't mean you need them back in your life. Missing is part of moving on. Longing is not always a sign to return. 8. Forget trying to change people. Change yourself or change your environment, or both. Your power lies in direction, not correction. 9. Leave when a promise turns into a sorry. Repeated disappointment is not love. It's a pattern. 10. Drive carefully on this road called life. People will switch lanes on you without signaling.
Wow.
Stay alert. Not everyone moves with intention. 11th. You learn a lot about people when they don't get what they want from you. Character is clearest in disappointment. 12. Being honest might not get you a lot of friends, but it will always get you the right ones. Truth filters your circle. 13. You grow as much as the amount of truth you're willing to accept about yourself, without running away. Real strength starts with honest reflection. 14. Only the disciplined are free. If you're undisciplined, you're a slave to your moods and passions.
Wow.
Freedom is not the absence of rules, but mastery over self. 15. The first to apologize is the bravest. The first to forgive is the strongest. The first to forget is the happiest. Healing is the reward of inner courage. 16. More important than the ability to choose the right one is the strength to walk away from the wrong one.
Wow.
Clarity comes when you stop tolerating confusion. 17. If you have to keep asking yourself if something is worth it, then maybe it's not. Doubt is often a whisper of your deeper wisdom. 18. Forgiving someone in silence and never speaking to them again is a form of self-care. Forgiveness doesn't require re-entry.
Wow.
19th. Anything you begin to take a relaxed attitude toward stops controlling you. Detach and regain control. 20. You'll realize it sooner or later. Everything is going to be all right. Maybe not today, but eventually. Time brings clarity, and healing follows.
What you're looking at right here is the Chittagara Fort in India. And not only is this the largest fort in India, but it is an astronomical, mathematical, and spiritual machine carved straight into the land. This place spreads across 700 acres on a high plateau like a giant mandala. Its walls stretch 13 kilometers, aligned with the land like it's mapping the stars above. This is one of the monuments within this fort called the Tower of Victory. And this isn't just a normal monument, it is a cosmic antenna. It is covered in carvings of gods, avatars, celestial beings, and sacred geometry. It is 9 stories tall, symbolizing the 9 planets of Vedic astrology. Each level is like a step on the ladder from the earth all the way to the heavens. Even more interesting is what they call the Tower of Fame, which is literally a stone-coated star map. It is filled with the divine truths about the cycles of time, the yugas, and the eternal return. And on a side note, it is estimated this thing weighs 800 metric tons. How are we supposed to believe that these people carved all of this stuff out with hammer and chisel, rope and pulley, primitive civilization? How did they hoist all of this up there? Absolutely crazy to think that. Now, the fort's palaces and gates, they aren't random. Their alignments perfectly mirror solstices and equinox pathways. These ancient engineers were quite literally mapping celestial rhythms into stone itself. Here's the wild part. This fort is drenched in legends where thousands of souls choose fire over conquest. People go here, they swear that they can feel past lives of their ancestors echoing in the stones themselves. Geometry, astrology, astronomy, and mythology is all baked into this fortress. What you're looking at right here is a portal of divine power. It is a spiritual circuit board designed to keep the people in sync with the cosmos itself. This is not just history, guys. This is cosmic technology in plain sight. How could we view this scale, this sophistication, the mathematical precision, and believe what we're told to believe, that these people were primitive, that they used hammer and chisel? It's not possible. These people were so far advanced from our time that it's not even explainable. Some sort of very sophisticated laser technology, directed energy needed to be used to create this sort of sophistication, this sort of precision, this sort of mathematical fucking just anomalies. Our ancient ancestors were so much more wise than we have been told, guys. When you start to look within, you'll find the real truth to everything, and the truth shall set you free. Peace and love.
India honestly got the real secrets. I'm stunned.
Now, when I say the world is a stage, I mean the world is a stage. Did Stevie Wonder just forget that he was blind? Or is this just a coincidence? You see, nothing is what it seems in this world, guys. You guys remember this one where he catches the falling mic? Oh, one more time for all the people at the back. Mic grab. It is all an illusion. The world is one big stage and you are being played.
You know, the lady beside him told him what's happening.
Kevin Hart took $50 million to unversion his hole.
What?
Can you explain a little bit? No, I just told you.
If Kevin Hart didn't sue over this, then it's probably true.
Why did no one ever tell me this? The ancient Israelites and Jews today follow something called Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur means the Day of Atonement, aka forgiveness. The rituals that took place in Yom Kippur consisted of 2 goats. But we're only going to focus on one called the scapegoat. According to this blasphemous book, and no, this isn't the Bible, this is the Jewish Talmud, they teach that a red thread was tied to the scapegoat. This is where the high priest of Israel would put both of his hands on top of the goat and confess all the sins of Israel upon it and then send it out into the wilderness. But the tradition was that this red wool would turn white, basically showing that God had forgiven their sins. So where am I going with all of this? Well, that Talmud right there says something very interesting. Remember, this was written by people who do not believe that Jesus is the Son of God. But right here, they bury themselves. 40 years before the destruction of the temple, the lot for the Lord did not come up in the right hand, nor did the crimson red colored strap become white. The second temple was destroyed by the Romans in 70 AD. This means that the red wool would have stopped turning white around the death of Christ. Which means God no longer approved of the animal sacrifices. There was no more. The forgiveness is done. Jesus Christ is Lord. He is the final forgiveness. And this Old Testament verse just kind of puts the icing on the cake. Come now, let us reason together, says the Lord. Though your sins are like scarlet, they shall be as white as snow. Though they are red like crimson, they shall become like wool. I just think it's crazy that a source outside of the Bible claims that the forgiveness of sins through rituals and animal sacrifices stopped after the death of Jesus.
Cross is king!
Anyone can be a hot girl online now. This influencer on Instagram doesn't exist, and she has 140,000 followers on Instagram after only 3 months of posting. She basically posts stuff about traveling around the world, gets relatively few comments about being AI. You're gonna see way more AI influencers like this on your social media feed. I also have an AI avatar, and I'll use it sometimes, but it always wears a hat so that people can visually distinguish really quickly whether it's me or my AI avatar.
Gary Vee predicted that a year ago. Pretty soon, no one will be online, only their avatars.
A thing that I call invisibility. If I did that, go invisible. Nobody can hear you, nobody can smell you, nobody can know anything about where you are. So I started teaching them all kinds of invisibility. No soap, nothing that you can smell for the last 3 days before we go out. Because they're not used to soap, and soap just stands out when you go out there. In fact, I even got to the point where I started making them eat North Vietnamese type food. If we're out there, and we're out there 4 or 5 days, eventually you're going to have to poop. And when you poop, I want it to smell like NVA poop. If they find it, I want them to say, oh, it's one of us. Did you come up with that? You're a bastard.
Wow.
Nutcase. That's what my friends say.
This is the actual guy from the movie Shooter. I still got the shuffle.
A lot of people think that the Rothschilds were running the show because they control the money, right? But no, even the Rothschilds were working for the Black Pope. Holy crap. Yeah, and the Gray Pope.
There's levels to this.
There's different levels, yeah.
Yeah, because people assume the Rothschilds run the world because they have the most money, right?
Exactly.
On paper, but there's probably more people that have more money than them.
Absolutely. Well, the Vatican's been hoarding all this for 1,700 years. Where do you think all the gold, most of the gold was? Until, of course, the White Hat military in the last 2 years was able to recuperate it. There was a huge raid. 2023, I believe, there was a huge raid to retake the gold that the Vatican has been withholding from humanity for 1,700 years.
Wow.
And the quantum financial system was actually a gift given to us by these positive galactic beings.
What?
That's supposed to, again, completely dismantle the central banking systems, the International Monetary Fund, and of course the entire cabal-run, you could say, governments.
Yeah, I wonder what currency other advanced planets use.
Black Pope doesn't mean Pope from the hood, okay?
something that blew my mind is the number of billionaires who use Chinese medicine faithfully. I'm not talking about just in China or in East Asia, but also in Europe.
Really?
I went to a wedding and met some billionaires from Switzerland, and they see the same herbalist. They'll fly in order to see this herbalist, and they swear that their ability to think and feel deepens so much that it is an indispensable business expense. So this is a level of care to see a master level doctor that was very difficult in China and in Europe until recently. And yet we've taken this capacity and put it right into Claros, and you can use it for free. Enjoy.
There's a secret behind Trump and Putin's Alaska meeting that has almost nothing to do with Ukraine and everything to do with a deal that could possibly change the world. Most people already know that Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin are about to have a private meeting in Alaska on Friday, August 15th, 2025. There's no Europe, there's no Ukraine, just the US and Russia. And that's got Europe, and especially the UK, absolutely freaking out. Why do you think that is? Well, because for more than 100 years, the British Empire and now the EU have feared one thing, that America and Russia might work together instead of fighting. Because when those two get along, they don't need Europe in the middle, do they? Now, according to Promethean Action, this meeting could be about way more than stopping the war in Ukraine. It could be the start of what they call a development deal of the century. Here's what that means. The Arctic is opening up. New shipping routes, energy fields, rare minerals. Whoever builds there first wins big. The US and Russia control most of that region anyway. If they agree to develop it together, ports, pipelines, trade routes, then they set the rules. And Europe, well, they get left outside. That's lost revenue, lost tax money, lost control. And that's why Europe isn't invited. So they say, the fewer the people in the room, the faster the deal. Trump and Putin don't want Brussels slowing it down with endless ego-driven debates by the actor leaders who have no real-life experience. Think about it. How can Putin or Trump, who both have decades of experience in life, business, and politics, even begin to take people like von der Leyen, Macron, or Callas even serious? They have done nothing of substance besides act for the cameras and follow their puppet master's rules. And it's time to end their game. Trump and Putin want to see if they can freeze the Ukraine fighting and start building. Why is Europe so nervous? 3 big reasons. 1, power. If the US and Russia set Arctic rules, Europe loses its gatekeeper role in global trade. 2, energy. New pipelines and shipping could bypass Europe's control over gas and oil. And number 3, politics. A thaw between the US and Russia would wreck the EU forever sanctions. Strategy and weaken the grip on the West. And the UK, well, this hits their old imperial nerves, doesn't it? Historically, London's strategy was to keep America and Russia apart so that Britain could always be the middleman in global trade and politics. An Alaska deal flips that script, and they know it. So what does it mean for America, though? It means more economic freedom. We can open new trade routes, access new resources, and cut out the middleman. It means more power. We become a builder again, not just a buyer. It means more autonomy. We can make deals that put our workers, our businesses, and our security first without the strings of the EU, NATO, bureaucracy, or the old global order. Here's the bottom line. If this meeting works and America can get along with Russia where it makes sense, then we might finally be our own boss again. That's why Alaska matters. And that's why the old guard is so damn scared. This is getting good, isn't it? Join me on Patreon for more.
I hope you're right. I would love to see Russia and the USA start trading and becoming great allies, you know, so the world would see less wars.
You volunteered for a singleton mission in Vietnam.
Yeah. There were a lot of SOG missions where the mission was to go set on a ridge line or go find the location of a battalion, just sneak and peek and get the information, get it back in, get out, that I could just go do. Drop me out there in the middle of the night. Nobody's going to be expecting it. Helicopter comes across that low. Nobody's going to think you're going to parachute in. They don't see it. It's dark. They hear it. They just don't know what happened. I just need to get in there. I need to send you a signal. I'm ready to come out. If things are too hot or too bad around that area, I'll start walking. You can pick me up somewhere else. And if you can't find me, you know I'm walking toward the border. Camp commander said no. SOG chief said no. Fate said, I'm going to activate RT Dynamite. Everybody else has said no, but Fate is about to say yes. You are about to be activated, dude. That's when I did the R&R mission. Holy shit.
Ooh, this guy doesn't have PTSD. He's got nostalgia.
I'm Spooner, retired Master Sergeant, 21 years in the U.S. Army, 16 of those in Special Operations, veteran of the Gulf War and the Global War on Terrorism, 5 years in the 82nd as an infantryman, 6 years in 7th Special Forces Group as an 18 Charlie, 10 years in Delta as an operator, assaulter, and sniper, 12 combat deployments, 1 to Afghanistan, 11 to Iraq, 40 total months of time in combat. That is almost 4 years straight. You've been sober for 31 years. Congratulations. We've got a lot to talk about.
Man. This is what Tim Kennedy pretends to be.
How common is it that someone big will come up and be like, oh, you're going to be with me tonight?
They call them booty bandits, where they chase other guys around. So what happens is one time this guy goes, oh, hey, Cox, come here, let me talk to you for a second. And I go, no, I'm good. I said, what's going on? Well, come here, let me talk to you. Now, what I notice is his cell door is open. 2 of his buddies are standing on the cell next to it. So he's either trying to get me close to the door or get me in his cell. These 3 guys are going to run in, close the door, and they're going to pull out knives. And they're going to want you to do something. They're going to want this, and you're scared to death. Would they actually stab you? I don't know. Then I actually grabbed the handrail. I said, if you want to talk, we can talk right here. Well, you think I'm going to do something? I said, if I don't go in your cell, I don't have to find out. What's up? No, man, I'm just saying, if you need anything, you need shoes, I could buy you shoes. You need dope, whatever you want, I got you. He's just a nice guy, right? Like, why would you do that? They're trying to make you indebted to them because suddenly he bought you a pair of $120 shoes. Now you owe me. So I'm like, yeah, bro, I don't need nothing. Nah, man, I see you wearing these shoes all the time. They're all bad, man. They're fucked up. I'm good, man. I'm good. And I'm holding on to this because I know if he grabs me or tries to pull me, I'm going to lock on and just start screaming. Didn't happen.
Now, King Solomon was a straight-up genius. Rumor has it that he was actually so smart that even kings, governments, and literally the occult still use his knowledge to this very day. Of course, the question is, what did he even teach? Well, according to Solomon, the very beginning of wisdom itself is this thing called the fear of the Lord. This is never meant actually being scared of God, but rather having this deep respect and holy reverence for the creator of the universe. We've all heard pride comes before a great fall, but the real question is, why is this even true? This will only make sense with the very first key of wisdom. You absolutely must first fear the Lord. So sit down and be humble. Solomon also warns about receiving advice from a specific group of people. He calls them sinners, but there's a lot more to this. See, a sinner can be rich and powerful, even a solution to all your problems, but their minds are separated from God, blind to the reality of this world. And if the blind lead the blind, then they will both fall into a ditch. And so, wisdom, according to Solomon, is like a woman. She calls out your name, waiting for your response. Only if you ignore her, eventually, she will leave, mocking your downfall, laughing at what you've missed out on. Only a fool builds their house without a solid foundation. So in this way, the beginning of wisdom is the fear of the Lord.
He was so wise, but still fell.